Imagine silk painting. It is something incredible. I saw the pictures. It's such a great art. And also, she told me that she changed her perception of things by the source of inspiration in love, and she has such an insatiable desire to create something beautiful. Let's welcome our next participant, Daria Tikhamirova. She's Romanian and immortal today.
Good evening, Toastmasters. I'm really glad to see you here, and I'm going to be a grammarian today. Well, is there anyone here who has already been a grammarian by any chance? Maybe? Yes? No? Okay, great. But in any case, I think that everyone knows how it feels to speak about other people's grammar mistakes on one hand, and to receive negative feedback or criticism on the other hand. So I'll try to be very kind to you today. And what I'm supposed to do is to listen to you carefully and bring your attention to the most common grammar mistakes that you may have, and of course I will try to be helpful in correcting them. I can imagine you would do excellently without my assistance, but okay. So now let me present you the word of the day, which is showcase. And here you can see what it means. So it's demonstrate, show, display. And as you may have already guessed, who's responsible for making this word so very fancy this recent months? It's Donald Trump. If you watch and listen to the US news from time to time, you may have heard it so many times on the news. Let me just give you some examples of how this word can be used. President Trump hosted his second Made in America product showcase at the White House. Or Trump will showcase an F-35 flight jet. So basically, you just need to replace the word show, demonstrate, or display by showcase. If you have it in your speech, of course, and that would be great. What I expect you to do is to use this word as many times as possible. But okay, let's be realistic. If you use it just once during the speech, that would be already perfect, and I'll be the happiest person in this room. So that's pretty much it. Don't forget to use the word, and I will report on how many times you use the word during the session. And I wish you good luck. And the time is over.
Thank you so much. And our next participant is our counter, Yulia Kulakova. Welcome to the stage.
Hello guys, my name is Yulia and I'm an counter today. And Diana made me an offer to be an accounter. So what does it mean? It's so my role is to watch you. How do you use a filler words? It does mean like so, and like inappropriate sounds. And I'm watching you guys and girls. Everything is in that list. So that is my role for today.
Thank you. Well, dear Toastmasters and our welcome guests, now it's time for prepared speeches. And our first speaker told me that she likes fashion and style. She likes to visit museums and ballet and cinema and opera. This is Evgenia Glinskaya. Her project, I am responsible. Her project named Evaluation and Feedback. And the purpose of the project is to present a speech of any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. So, welcome to the stage.
So, just a moment. that is my third speech in Toastmasters. So I hope your judgment wasn't so cruel with me. And actually, when Diana asked me what will be your name, will be your topic, I didn't know what to reply. So then I suddenly said, okay, let's speak about responsibility. Then I said to her, okay, we will name it as I'm responsible. Then I slightly changed the name, and when I started to think about this topic, I slightly changed the name, and I named it as Am I Responsible? So that is a good question. I think this is very wild topic. So that's why I will speak more about business cases and not about religion or politics. So if we will speak why I decided to speak about this. Because one day ago, before Diana asked me this question, I had received a call from my colleague, and he asked me to give him the strong decision. So, for the situation is following: client asked to give a favor and pay to the bank card the very small amount, 350 ruble, without any advance payment. Such situation is not normal for us because we usually receive an advance payment, then we make some transfers. So he called me and asked, okay, I need your strong decision. So it is true that I'm responsible for cash flow in the company and some control, but I'm not accountable for this. So there is big difference between accountability and responsibility. So of course I was very proud that person called to me and started to ask me my strong decision. So that means I'm such important person that somebody wants to know my decision. So what do you think I have replied to him? What is your vision on this? What I have replied?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Okay. Any other opinion?
No, it's not my responsibility.
Yes, good question. Actually, that is a reply which I very often receive from anybody, I would say, in Russia, because 2 years ago I moved from Kazakhstan, so and very often my foreign colleagues say that the most often reply which I received in Russia, it is, I'm not responsible. That's funny, no?
No, it's mistake.
That's it.
Controversy.
No? I'm responsible, they say.
Everybody, I believe most people in Russia are responsible for the decision, for their tasks.
Yeah, maybe it is your experience.
And not my opinion. I just today talk with people from Germany, from Berlin, and they announced this phrase.
The time for the speaker now. Thank you so much for your time.
No, yes, we can discuss it after the speech, but as my experience, my colleagues often say to me that the most common it is I'm not responsible for any simple question, even advice. They said, okay, even it's like this, can you please tell me the minimum salary for now? Some HR people, they say, I'm not responsible for this. Or what is the average hours for the month? I don't know, something, the question which is very simple and everybody, I'm sure, know it or can support some foreign people. and find this information in the internet, but they say, no, I'm not responsible. So when we will speak about this, am I responsible and why I decided this topic, it is because of this, because of my foreign colleagues, they really concerned about this. So that's why we will discuss today the difference between responsibility versus accountability. Responsible versus accountable. So of course my response was, so you can discuss with the person who is accountable. I'm not accountable, so I'm responsible, but I'm not accountable. If we will see this situation, go details. In the details, there is a person who makes the transfers, who is really can call to the client and ask when the payment will be done. So I won't do it. This person could do it. So that's why we can say that that person can say yes and make the person who is accountable, he needs to make this decision, not me. So it's very important in the team to understand the roles of responsibility. If you don't know the border of responsibility, it will be difficult to proceed and to achieve the goal. So the responsibility can be shared. The accountability cannot be, couldn't be shared. If you are accountable, that means your goal is to achieve. It is to achieve the goal. Responsibility, it is just yes, you are responsible for such task, but you are not accountable for the goal. So here we can see the ratio matrix, which you often use it in many companies. And we can see that if you are responsible, you are who is and will be doing the task, who is assigning the work on this task. Accountable, who is the head will role of this if this goes wrong. Who has the authority to take the decision. So I hope my my topic will help you to achieve your goals in the business, to achieve the project, and then you will know what to reply on such question. So thank you.
Evgenia, thank you so much for your interesting presentation, and I encourage you guys to leave a feedback for our previous speaker using your agenda, using the link on the backside of agenda, and using your smartphones. You're gonna have 1 minute for this. Did you find the link? And if you experience some troubles, please ask and we will help you to find the link. So timer, I ask you to time 1 minute for feedback. The feedback is starting. The minute is starting now.
For a waiter only, or table topics too?
No, it is the speaker, it's not a moderator.
Only the
You may find the link on the screen.
Yeah.
Yes,
Or
by the way.
Yes.
right in front of
Also, you can use the QR code with your camera.
Anybody else having problems? So, her name, this time, yeah, you apply and then just
Minute is over.
Well, minute is over. Dear friends, thank you for leaving the feedback. And our next speaker told me that he is inspired with his family. He has a young daughter. She likes to sing and dance, and he likes to film her. It is Artur Tuzbekov. Let's welcome him on the stage. With his project on the breath, project number 3, researching and presenting, and the objectives and the purposes of this project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. So, welcome, Artur.
Thank you very much. Good evening, dear Toastmaster members, dear guests. I have a hobby. This hobby is diving. I like to dive every time when I'm on vacation, and but diving is a pretty expensive kind of activity. In order to dive, you have to pay for each dive and buy or rent special equipment. And I always was interested in another activity where you don't have such problems. It's called free diving. You dive there without special equipment for breathing. You just do it on one breath. Since I have a project on researching and presenting, I decided to deep dive in that theme and learn a little bit more about it and understand and to answer a few questions, basic questions. So, free diving, it was known very, very long time ago. Our ancestors used to dive and collect some useful stuff from the sea, like pearls and something to eat. It became a sport in the middle of 20th century. Few guys start to make a ferry, and it was interesting to understand how the world records changed. First official record was 30 meters. Next, when they achieved 40 meters was in 1953. At around that time, scientists and doctors say, full stop. It's not possible to dive deeper than that depths. But there was a people who don't believe them, and probably you've seen the movie which called Big Blue. It's about French diver Jacques Mayol, who actually changed the world of freediving and made a lot of records. And that scientist and doctors doesn't know about changes which happens in our body on such depths. We in that when we dive so deep, we are very close to dolphins and so on. And then we see that in 1966 it was 54 meters, and in 1976 Jacques Mayol reached 100 meters. It's absolutely impossible, and current record in such discipline, this discipline called no limits, it's 214 meters. It's when you go in the water on special vehicle and then return back with balloon with the air. It's not when you dive there, you not just dive and then could dive there and it would be official record. No, official record would be recognized only in case you will go away and say to the judge, I am okay in 15 seconds. If you if blackout happened, in that case, official records not recognized. And the other interesting records, it's constant weight without fins. It's just a man with nothing on his feet go deep and deep, and current record is 102 meters. Just for comparison, probably some of you came here with metro station Baumanskaya. When you come back, just to think about it when you be on escalator, 7 times deeper guys could dive there. And it was actually my first question, how deep I could dive. And as a diver, I have a certificate. I am advanced diver, and for me allowed only 30 meters with special equipment, but current record it's much more. And I tried free dive, and my current record it's around 5 meters probably. Also interesting fact, I came here from Metro Taganska to Baumska. It takes me around 10 minutes, and current world record for people not breathing in the water, 11 minutes 35 seconds. Another question was for me, isn't too late for me to start free diving? It turned out it's not. You could start any day as you want. It proved by a very famous free diver, Natalia Molchanova. She started her diving career at 39, and she made a lot of world records, and currently she's unbeatable in some disciplines, and 22 times was world champion. Another question which I have, how long does it take to to dive so deep? It turns out also not so much. Of course, I wouldn't reach such depths, but I don't need that. I think for me, 15 meters, something like that, would be enough, and then I will decide what to do next. And according to their statistics, I will improve my results 2 times after that courses. If you are interested, you could, in that discipline, you could find a lot of interesting video from the guy called Guillaume Neri. He filmed how he dives, and he is world champions, and he has presentations on the TED. Just watch it, it's absolutely amazing. For me, as a result of that research, I decided that I definitely will go and try free diving. And returning to the theme of today's meeting, inspirations, there are 2 showcases of people who showed that you have to believe in yourself and make impossible records if anybody told you that it's not impossible. It's not possible. And if you like something, you could be the best just to do it as Natalia Molchanova showcased us. That's all. Thank you very much.
Interesting presentation. Friends, I also ask you to leave the feedback using the same link that you followed before, and we also have 1 minute. I also ask timer to time 1 minute, please. Thank you. So the time has passed, and the next speaker is Sofia Kuzina. Let's welcome her on the stage. Interesting project, praise or punish. The project number 4, understand your leadership style. And the purpose of this project is to identify your primary leadership style or styles.
Dear Toastmasters, think about the way you communicate with others, with your friends, with your relatives, with your children, subordinates, clients, etc. I will tell you about 3 types of leadership style, and you will choose what kind of leadership style you prefer. So the first style is called authoritative. And if you don't give if you give instructions in a very brief and certain form, if you punish more than praise, if you don't really give initiative to your children or subordinates, but if you prefer results more than people, then your style is autocratic. So the second style is democratic. If you praise more than punish, if people are more important for you than actual result that you can, for example, think about the decision for a long time, but on the other hand, you will save relations with people, for example. And if you give instructions in the form of an offer with a rather big freedom of action, then your style is democratic. And the last style is free reign style. No instructions, no praise, no punishment, but very good relations with your children and other people. Of course, there is a big freedom of action, like a huge freedom of action, and a group operates by themselves. So yeah, you see mother now absolutely comfortable with children playing around her. I want to ask you one question. What do you prefer? The first one, the second, or the third? So dear Toastmasters, raise your hands, those of you who prefer autocratic style of leadership. Okay, 2. Okay, thanks. The second one, democratic style. Wow. And the third one, no pay, no punishment, no instructions. Okay, again, 2. So the majority of Toastmasters prefer democratic style of leadership. Me personally too. And I noticed that effective tool of this leadership style that you prefer is praise. I noticed it by myself, by my personal experience. When I was a first-year student, one day my groupmates told me, "Wow, Sonia, you prepare for your exams in advance. It's really cool. You have a lot of time for preparation." And this phrase stuck in my head, and every time it was motivating me and inspiring me to really do everything in advance. After that day, I decided to use it myself. When I was doing my first project, icebreaker project in Toastmasters, I couldn't make up a title for it. It was very difficult for me. I don't know why. So I decided to ask an advice of my sister. I came to her room and said, "Varya," she said, "I'm busy." I continued, "Varya, you are so creative. You have brilliant ideas. I really need your help. Can you help me, please?" After that phrase, she smiled and helped me. And that day, I understood that praise is a very strong tool for democratic style of leadership. And I continued using it, of course. But 2 things you should remember about this tool that I learned is to be honest. It's the first thing. And the second one is not to use it too often, because otherwise people won't believe you that you compliment them. Because otherwise they will think that you want something from them, that you use them for accomplishing your own interests, your own goals. And the last feature I noticed is that it's very difficult to use. Very difficult. It's like to thank somebody. It's very difficult to notice that a person did something well, but it's even more difficult to thank him for it, or to praise him for it. And that's why I decided to read a book about it, about influence, persuasion, and it's called The Psychology of Persuasion of Robert Cialdini. Maybe you've heard about it. Yeah, I see you nodding. I really recommend you this book, and I recommend you to praise more than punish. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your investigation. And I encourage you guys to leave the feedback again for our previous speaker using the same link. We have the same 1 minute. Timer, please time this. Part of our meeting is open now, and now it's time for impromptu speeches. We are starting our table topic session, and the table topic master is Alexandra Fedorenko. Let's welcome her on the stage. She told me that her job is all about creativity. She likes to draw occasionally, and she gets inspiration from the beauty of the world and when she sees what other people do. So, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm really excited to be here today and lead my favorite part of Toastmaster meeting, and this is impromptu speaking. You know, we all can be really, really good when we prepare speeches, but when it comes to speaking on your feet, we can get, fear, and we can mumble and so on and so forth. So today we're going to practice a little bit. And the topic of our meeting is inspirations, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about inspirations. A little thing before we begin, and I'm going to give you some tasks. First of all, we still need to remember about the time. So our timer today will show you when you need to stop talking. Usually you will get about 30 seconds to think when you get your topic, and then you will need to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. When you will have 1 minute, you will see the green light. At 1:30 you will see the yellow light, and at 2 minutes you will see the red light when you need to stop speaking. So now, without further ado, let me introduce you the topic. So today, as far as I know, everybody changed their jobs recently. And this is really amazing because this is a great new start. And today we're going to talk about what got you inspired to get your new job. So when the first person and the next person is going to come here, they will pick the card with their new profession, and they will need to talk for 1 to 2 minutes about what got them inspired to pick their new profession. For example, I am a wine ambassador, and what got me inspired, and yada yada yada. Okay? So I would like to ask one of our experienced Toastmasters to show the example for the guests. Who would that volunteer be? No one? Please, thank you. Please welcome Sergey, if I remember.
If anybody else has made a decision to do that, you can still be on my place.
Yeah, I am.
No, it's too late.
Yes, you. Okay. And all
Sure.
younger generation.
Please welcome Sophia. So Sophia, it is really good to have you here. And could you please tell us what made you inspired to change your job and to become
Actually, to take a job because
take a job? Thank you.
Wow. Toilet pepper sniffer. Yep.
Toilet paper sniffer.
Brilliant. Yeah, very, it's a very difficult question.
Yep.
So, I'm a second-year student of Moscow State University, and during 2 years, I wanted to become an HR manager. But one day, inspiration came to me, and I decided to choose my diploma completely. I decided to work in a toilet. It's more important for people than HR, because HR, what does he do? Yeah, nothing actually, but a toilet. Like you can absolutely 100%. You can live without HR. I will tell you 100%. But without a person who changes these toilet papers, you won't live. Yeah, you agree with me. That's why I decided to change my profession and to make this world a better, a cleaner place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sonia. Believe it or not, but this profession, toilet paper sniffer, actually exists. Yep, and all of those do. So who would like to become a next inspirational speaker? Thank you very much. Welcome. And the name is? Dmitry. So Dmitry, and your profession is? Nothing as crazy.
Oh.
No, over here.
Which healer?
Which healer?
Which healer? Which?
Oh,
healer?
this one doesn't exist. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's the things I have been thinking about during last several hours, but I'm not really inspired about this actually. But when I'm somewhere on the Lake Baikal or in Siberian taiga or some northern highlands, I sometimes feel so very well attached to the nature, to the process that connect the human with its divinity through the nature. So I think that maybe I was this kind of person some years ago, but when I leave that place and return to Moscow, it just disappears, and I'm inside my normal life. But over there, the things are different, and maybe that's the method one can feel his real nature. It's to put oneself into different situations and to see how do you feel there. How maybe and in this way maybe one can find his proper place in this world.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And next volunteer. I think you are scared, right? Please.
As some of you may know,
Your name is?
Elena.
Elena.
I quit my job not long ago, and I took Panda Hugger job. You know that I speak Chinese and I teach Chinese, so I travel a lot to China, and I've been to Sichuan province where there is a huge panda reserve. They have like regular black and white pandas and orange pandas who actually look like foxes. And here on the picture you see very small panda, but maybe you haven't seen obviously you've seen pictures of huge pandas. And it's really hard for them to move. Like they barely can move, you know? So they need somebody to hug them, maybe to carry them from one place to another, yeah? That inspired me so much to take this job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. next volunteer would be? Please.
Sasha. Okay. Oh no. That's work. My dream. But I think not. Nail polish maker. Name.
Not nail polish, Neymar.
Neymar.
Oh,
Neymar. That's so, answer day, I think 5 years ago, in the late morning, I've slept enough, and when I wake up, I've got some inspiration inside of me. I think, why I'm an engineer? Why I need to go to the work, to the university? That's all. That doesn't have any chances in comparison with nail polish Neymar. That's great. You just seeing in the colors, seeing the beauty of a woman on the nails. And you just like, so, what kind of name I need to make that was brilliant and a woman when she was coming to